It's 5 o'clock. This is the Terrace. Welcome back. I hope you are all well. Smash the like button right now. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Turn on the bell notification button and go through our description below. Once you get past today's stories, you'll see all the link to our social media accounts, Facebook, Insta, Twitter. Make sure you're subbing to them all, but get involved in the Discord. The Football Terrace Discord community is the very best football chat room on the planet. It's amazing. I sit there watching it sometimes. Great football conversation, great football talk as always. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all doing good. I really, really do. We're here to talk Haaland to Chelsea and their big push to try to bring him to Stamford Bridge next summer. We're also going to speak about Arsenal and the situation with ODEGAARD and the big claim made about them keeping him next year. Liverpool also reportedly looking to submit a large bid for DYBALA, a player that we rarely hear his name in this day and age. We very rarely hear his name in the last 12 months or so. Liverpool reportedly looking at a big summer bid for the player. We're going to go through those stories with you in more detail. We're going to take your phone calls as well, because you, the fans, are the most important element of this. It really, really is. DJ here says, sometimes I feel as a Chelsea fan, I wish Werner went to Liverpool. At least the fans would love and respect him. Also, stick by him if he is going through a barren run. Chelsea fans have no patience. Well, we're going to go through it in more detail. Of course, member chats we highlight. Super chats get highlighted as always. Hey, Terry, buddy, big up yourself. What are your views on the football index? Listen, I think we were involved in a football index a while ago. I've lost in the crash that happened. I lost a lot of personal money. And it's an absolute disgrace the way they've behaved. The administrators are in now. Hopefully the administrators can resolve these matters and help people get as much money back as possible. My situation with them was mad because I saw this coming. I sold all my shares 3 months ago, and they haven't in that whole time allowed me to make my withdrawal. They asked for ID, proof of address and whatnot. I sent it all through, still no withdrawal. So yeah, it's awful. It's a terrible situation, and I hope it gets resolved as soon as possible. Let's go through some of these stories with you today, though. First one we want to touch on is the Haaland deal. And what we've read is that Chelsea are reportedly so desperate to sign Haaland that they are willing to cut their ties with Timo Werner in order to facilitate a move for the Norwegian hotshot. It says the Borussia Dortmund starlet is one of the most highly sought-after players in Europe, thanks to his stunning performances in the Bundesliga and the Champions League. Haaland has 31 goals in 30 appearances for his club this season, with Chelsea and Manchester United amongst the interested suitors for the 21-year-old. He says, if it has been a season of struggles for Werner since he joined the Blues from Leipzig last summer and scoring just 5 goals in his maiden Premier League campaign. And the big question for all of you, there's been big claims by the Football Insider today that Chelsea are open to the idea of using Werner either as a make-weight in the deal or to sell Werner to raise funds and capital and a space in the squad for him. The question I want to pose to the Chelsea supporters today is this. Would you endorse that move? If it was announced tomorrow that Roman had sanctioned it and that Thomas Tuchel said, okay, that we're going to allow Werner to leave, whether it's part of a swap deal or part of just 2 independent sales, would you accept it? Would you accept it is the question here. That's what I want to go through with the viewers. We're going to look at your comments. We're going to open the lines for you to phone up and have your say. The next story on the agenda is an interesting one. A big claim made today that ODEGAARD, it says here that ODEGAARD, who is on loan at Arsenal from Real Madrid, scored in the Premier League, blah, 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 blah. He says his Bernabeu future remains uncertain with Zidane in charge. But there are doubts about there are no doubts about the 22-year-old's talent. He says, this is what the journalist here says. He says, ODEGAARD is a baller. He's technically very, very gifted. The talk of Arsenal trying to bring him to the Emirates on a permanent deal in the summer I would be surprised if that happened. The report then goes on to speak about how the better he does, the more likely it is that Real Madrid are going to want to keep him. So my question for the Gooners is simple. Are you worried that Odegaard is going to kill it, push you into a European spot, maybe help you win a trophy this year, and then you're not going to be able to keep him? Are you now concerned that there is no compulsory purchase order in place or a right to buy that you're in control of? Is it starting to feel like a bit of a bad deal in the medium to long term now that Odegaard's looking really, really good? And a lot of us question the move in terms of ability, but he's certainly looking like a very decent player indeed. The final point and topic on conversation today is DYBALA. Here's the reports on this here. It says that Juventus are reportedly readying themselves for a summer bid from Liverpool for Paulo DYBALA. It says the Argentinian forward, who is worth upwards of £60 million, is entering the final 12 months of his current contract. Despite being available for free soon, multiple outlets across the continent claim that Liverpool will make a move for the 27-year-old this summer. DYBALA has scored 3 goals in 16 appearances for Juventus this season. Liverpool fans, DYBALA in. Is that something you would endorse? Is that something that you would support in terms of a deal? Give us your views. Give us your opinions on that. Give us one on that at all. There's a lot of Chelsea fans that are saying no, they wouldn't swap Werner for Haaland. Why? I want to understand why. I want to understand why you wouldn't do that, why you wouldn't get that done. Apologies. Sorry, I'm just moving the arms on my chairs. I would like to know. Timo is perfect with Haaland. I hear that. But so you wouldn't swap. If you had to sell Werner and that was the only way you could afford or that you could land Haaland, you wouldn't do it. Interesting. Arsenal fans want to hear from you as well, and you can go from there. It's stupid, Terry. Why? Again, I'm not... sometimes I say to you guys, I want to know why. Saying it's stupid is cool. Please tell me why you think it's stupid. All I'm trying to do here is learn and understand. Personally, my view is I wouldn't get rid of Timo Werner just yet, even for Haaland. Your Chelsea Football Club, I think you can afford both. I think you should be able to have both within your squad. Werner can be utilized because he isn't just an out-and-out number 9. So I'd be looking at both. But if you don't want to do the swap deal, what I'm asking you is why? Why you wouldn't do that? That's the big question that I would put out there today to you all. We're going to get Jem on the line soon. We're going to get Canadian Cam on as well. Go across to the Discord server if you're part of that, because I'm about to put the link in there for you to come on and have your say as well. I'm just going to share that over there right about now for all of you. That is now shared over there. Make sure you're smashing that like button for us, because this is what the Football Terrace is here for. Our focus is you, the fans. These articles get produced by media outlets. People go on the internet. People go on radio stations and spout this stuff. They spread these stories. They publish these stories, etc. We're here to give you an opportunity to speak about it. Don't attack us for having a conversation. I haven't made this story up. I didn't invent these stories. They're not my sources. We're here to talk about them. If you think it's stupid, if you think it's a bad idea, if you think it's a lie, come on and tell us why. We want to hear from you. That's why the Football Terrace exists. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. Why I created this platform for these very reasons. For all of you, excuse me, I'm just getting my paperwork in front of me sorted out. I created these just for you. You'd rather sell Pulisic. That could happen as well, I suppose. There's a lot of Chelsea fans that wouldn't mind seeing him leave by the reactions after the last game. There's no doubts about that whatsoever. Let's get our first lot of panelists on. We're going to get Cam on. We're going to get Jem on. We're going to get Latimer's Prime on as well. Then we're going to go to some of your callers. We've got Abs, Alex, and the Arsenal Realist all waiting backstage to come on this afternoon and have their say. All going to come on and have their say. Let's get some people. Hang on, where's that gone? There it is. Let's get some people on now, people. Afternoon, all. How you doing?
What's up?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Not bad.
I'm jumping straight into the Chelsea one, Jem. A lot of Chelsea fans on the channel this afternoon, on the Football Terrace community, in the Football Terrace community, saying they categorically wouldn't want Werner to leave, even if it means Haaland coming in. What's your thoughts on that?
I get it. For me personally, we're Chelsea Football Club. I don't see why we can't have both of them. I do think in terms of Timo Werner, this season he deserves, for me, a free pass. I'm only talking for myself. I'm not talking for other people. I think going into next season, if he continues with the same level of performances that he has this season, it becomes a problem. But obviously, the conversations about getting Haaland this summer, for me, I wouldn't switch Werner to get Haaland. I would probably swap. I probably prefer to swap Pulisic, if you want my honest opinion. The reason for that is only because I feel he's injury prone. You only get him for about 30-40% of a whole season. And it would make a lot more sense if we can shift him off now to keep Timo Werner, who can keep fit, can get involved, will be played. And I do think that if we had Haaland, I do think Haaland and Werner could play together. I know a lot of people say they couldn't, but I think they could. I think it would work quite nicely with him playing off him and making runs into the spaces. So for me, I wouldn't get rid of Timo Werner for Haaland. I'd keep him. And we're Chelsea Football Club. We should be able to get both, man. Do you know what I mean? So
no, I hear you on that, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Would you be angry with that move? So if you sold Werner for, say, £40 million to Real Madrid, and then you bought in Haaland, would you be frustrated with that, or you'd say, we've still had an upgrade?
I mean, who could turn down Haaland? Let's be serious. Like he's unreal. He is what, second for me, the second best young player in the world. If Werner had to be shifted because Chelsea Football Club believed that Haaland is the man and Werner wasn't and made the wrong decision, would I be a little bit annoyed? Possibly, because I feel like he should be given more of an opportunity than just a full season. I say that to every player that's come in, that's signed at the beginning of the season. But at the same time, I would respect what Chelsea do, and I would back my football club, as I always do. So, yeah.
I hear you on that. How about yourself, Prime? Would you be, the reports today are saying that Chelsea is so desperate for Haaland that they would swap Werner just to get him. So it doesn't mean it's their first option is to say, right, let's swap him out. But they would, if it's the only way of landing him, offering him as a make weight as an example. Would you endorse that move?
Would I do a swap deal? No. I don't even think we should sign Haaland anyway. I would rather have Kane.
Oh, here we go.
I think Kane would suit us more, and we get the best out of what we have. I think currently, I know it's about Haaland. For me, we shouldn't get Haaland, at least not as a priority anyway.
So why?
If we're getting a forward, it should be Kane.
I get that. So what has Kane got that Haaland hasn't to elevate the Chelsea team?
He's a leader. He's experienced. He's one of the best players in the world, and he gets his link-up play would get the best out of Werner and Havertz, which is essentially, and the rest of our forward line, which is essentially what we need. Haaland is someone who you build a team around on his own. The same with a Werner or a Havertz. The board really messed up a bit last summer, where amazing players that they signed, I guess, but it's like they all fit different systems, and it's now about trying to get them all to work. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this properly. It's all about getting them all to work, and we're going to sign another player in Haaland who doesn't really suit or pair with a Werner if it's not going to be a swap deal. And even if it is, I don't know if Haaland fits Havertz.
So what you're essentially saying is you think that because the on the ball play, the approach play, technical ability with the ball at his feet, Harry Kane is better, Premier League proven. He could come in and be the linchpin to galvanize a lot of your younger other attacking players together, where you think Haaland might just be another top quality youngster, but there's no one to kind of glue them into a system.
Yeah. Also, this is going to sound a bit mad what I'm saying. This thing with Haaland with his 50% success rate, it's all well and good doing it in the Bundesliga with a high line. And yes, he's doing it for Dortmund in the Champions League, so it's going to sound mad. But I'm not how good is he when he's only going to get 2 or 3 chances a game? How clinical is he going to be?
Very.
Again, maybe he is. Maybe I'm wrong. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather go with Kane, someone who
I can
trust to be quiet for 80, 90 minutes in a game, and then he pops up a goal out of nowhere.
Yeah,
the North London Derby, for example,
what he
right?
does.
But the North London Derby, for example, Kane, prime example, that header, which was offside that he scores, that's that draws the game 2-2, or that free kick, which could have gone in, that he hit the post, again 2-2. And you can say Haaland does that as well, but Kane is someone who I've seen him do it. He's a leader. He's experienced in doing it. Our forward line that is so young and consistent, I'd rather have Kane. Also, this thing with his injuries it's only a problem for Spurs because they're not a big club and they haven't invested in getting adequate backup. With a club like Chelsea,
no, that was what I was about to say.
Kane being injured for a month at Chelsea or at Man United, it would not be a problem.
Yeah, it would be, and I'll tell you why it would be a problem. Because if you're gonna go and spend that kind of money on a player who we know in the past has suffered injuries, and it's not months. He's been out for 3 months. He's been out for long term times. So for me, it's like you're going to spend. How much is Harry Kane? We don't even know, do we? How much would Harry Kane be if he was up for sale? Would he be more than Haaland? Would he be worth more than Haaland? Is the question. But for me, if they're gonna be as of around the same, and you have to choose between two, I'd go for the youth. I'd go for the one that you can build your team around for the future. It's about moving forward. It's about Chelsea trying to solve the problem now so that they don't have to keep going and buying new strikers and new players.
Kane solves
but Kane may do. But the thing that worries about Kane, you're going to spend the same money, but then you might lose him for 3 months.
No way it's the same.
And then,
but you're not going to lose him. No, at Spurs, he's overplayed because they don't have an op. You're not losing him for 3 months at a club like Chelsea, who will actually rotate properly. At Spurs, he plays basically every game, unless it's like a stupid League Cup game, because, well, at least with Poch, he didn't take the domestic cup seriously, but he was playing every Premier League game basically and every Champions League game, which is why he got burnt out. And for England, he's playing every game, which is why he got burnt out. Do you think someone like Tuchel is going to play him every game?
Yes, because he's the only out-and-out striker we actually would have.
I hear what you're all saying there. Cam, what's your thoughts on this? I mean, obviously, the origination of the conversation is, should Chelsea swap Werner for Haaland? That's a big report that's circulating today. First of all, would that be an improvement to the Chelsea squad, an team for you, i.e. a good move? And based on what Prime has said, do you think Harry Kane would be a better option than Haaland for Chelsea right now?
Any team that can get Haaland should do it at whatever cost, in my opinion. Well, not whatever cost, but a Werner for Haaland. Like, I agree with Jem. Like, you should have both. Like, your Chelsea Football Club, you can afford both. You should get both. But if they said send us Werner for Haaland, do it. The team that lands Haaland is going to goals. You can't. Goals are the rare commodity. It's always, everybody knows that. You cannot replace goals. Haaland has proven. I don't get this whole he can't link play. I've watched a lot of the Borussia Dortmund games, and he does link play. He's actually very good at it. And his pace is ridiculous for a guy his size. So I don't see why you'd want. Like, Kane is great. Like, I love Kane. Everybody knows. I'd say we're probably going to end up with Kane at United, is my opinion. But I don't think. I'll be completely honest. I don't think Haaland's going to Chelsea. He's going to City. That's just. I'll say that right now. That's where I think he lands. But if Chelsea have a chance at getting Haaland, you're sitting at a marker. You're letting everybody know you're really for real and for a long time, because he'll be there for 5-6 years.
That's my point.
If you win trophies with him, he'll become a legend at Chelsea.
Exactly.
Kane. If we sign Kane, he's not leaving. If we sign Haaland, he's going to leave. So this whole thing of our forward line is sorted.
I disagree.
Winning,
maybe not for 6 years. Also, this point of, if we sign Haaland and it's either a swap deal for a Werner or Pulisic, even if it's not a swap deal, we're still going to have to sign another winger or another creative.
Yeah, that's another story.
Forward type player.
Conversation.
That's another story.
But it's more money as opposed to just signing Kane.
You guys
what
have
does that mean to Chelsea?
As opposed to signing Kane, who can do both.
Do you know what? When it comes to Chelsea, saying that's more money, you guys love spending money, and there's nothing wrong with doing it. Listen,
I know, but I'm just thinking logically.
Knows my thoughts on Harry Kane and how good he is. But if you've got the opportunity to sign Haaland, who is 20 years of age and has the world at his feet, you could get 10, 11, 12 years out of him at the highest level. He's going to absolutely kill it. If Harry Kane was 3 or 4 years younger, then I think there's more of a debate there. I also think actually Harry Kane's going to be more expensive, because you're going to have that element of Daniel Levy is going to say, hang on a minute, you want him, that you're going to pay us above premium rate because we're competitors within the same league. He's still only, what is it, 27, Harry Kane? Maybe a bit
Yeah,
older.
yeah, 27,
28.
28
Still
this year.
3 or 4 years
Prime.
left. It's going to be hella expensive. Haaland, even though this summer you're going to pay above what the buyout clause is next year, it's not going to be excessively more because teams can just, because he's 20, you can wait another year if you convince him to join you. So I think Haaland all the way, but I agree with Jem. I wouldn't be looking, this desperation to sign him. Chelsea can't let that come out because you want to be keeping Werner. Werner can play alongside him in a 2 at times. Werner can drift out to the left if needed. He's great rotation to have. It would be, for me, suicidal business to let Timo Werner go from Chelsea right about now. We're going to go to some of the callers. We also want to hear from Arsenal fans as well, but talking about ODEGAARD and big reports today that it's going to be difficult for Arsenal to keep him at the Emirates Stadium, especially if he continues to perform how he is. Liverpool may be submitting a bid somewhere in the region of about 40 to 50 million pounds for DYBALA this summer from, of course, the Argentinian currently at Juventus. Liverpool fans, we want to hear from you. The link is available on the Discord server. We're going to go through some quick fire calls now. Yes, go on,
Terry, I got to head out, but I just want to say before I head out, if Liverpool get DYBALA, they will shoot back up to where they need to be. DYBALA is basically Firmino in his prime. I watch a lot of Juve games. I know he's hurt right now, and they're suffering for it. If Liverpool get DYBALA, then the whole league's put back on notice, like in my opinion. But thanks for having me on again. I just wanted to say that. Like, DYBALA he's a baller, man.
He is. He's very, very good indeed, man. Listen, you take care, Cam. All the best, bro. Speak to you soon, mate. First caller of the day. We're going to add Ram onto the panel here, and then our first caller of the day is going to be Alex. Alex is a Chelsea fan. Alex, what do you want to say, mate?
You all right, guys? How's everyone? All good?
All good,
Not bad,
bro.
Alex.
What's on your mind, mate?
All right, Jim.
Not bad, bro.
Yeah, look, with Haaland, I think, look, if I had a chance of getting Haaland, you know, I would 100%. I think every single Chelsea fan knows that, you know, I don't know, there's more than 6 clubs this summer that would want a striker, and you know, and it's not going to be easy. You know, it's not going to be easy to get Haaland, and but look, on a bit business-wise, you know, this whole discussion of Kane and Haaland, the one thing of Haaland is that if we had a chance to actually get him and we just had to pay the money, pay as much as you want, because at the end of the day, you're going to make that money fast back business-wise, because Haaland, business-wise, he'll be, you know, he's like the most sought-after player, and the amount of money they will make from like publicity through like the amount of new fans that will bring to the Chelsea club, like it's going to be it's going to be massive. And kind of Abramovich, he is a businessman, and as a business standpoint, to buy Haaland would be a better business standpoint to buy Haaland instead of getting Kane. So I see why Chelsea would, if Chelsea had a chance of having both, I think they would actually go for Haaland. With Haaland and Werner, look, yeah, I don't know, like I wouldn't swap it. Like I keep saying this, that I want to give all these Chelsea players a pre-season, you know, one year in Prem. You know, let's see what they can do next season, and I'll give Werner until, I don't know, next January to really assess what he can do. I
think that's absolutely right. He definitely needs that time, Alex. Listen, bro, thank you for your call, mate. Really appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much indeed. Next up, we're going to get another Chelsea fan on. Abs is on the show. Welcome back, mate. What do you want to say?
Hey, welcome, Terry. Welcome, everyone. So, oh God, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, with the whole thing about Kane and Haaland, I see where Prime's coming from with that Kane's a more complete footballer and he could generally bring more to our game. However, the issue isn't that we need a complete footballer, because we've got loads of complete ballers in our team. The issue is that we just need someone who's going to come in and score the goals. Do you remember, like, what's his name? Remember when Costa came in at that time when we got the semi-finals of the Champions League in 2014, right? The issue was we had Eto'o, Bar and Torres, and they weren't scoring anything. They were firing blanks. Then when we got Costa, next season won the league.
Yeah.
So all we need is we just need someone who's going to score those chances. And if we get Haaland, because we are creating chances, we're just not scoring any. So once we get Haaland or someone of that caliber, then we could be one of the scariest teams in Europe next year.
Do you know how old Costa was when we signed him?
26 probably.
Yeah.
So just about entering his prime, which Kane is in right now.
It's a good point. It's a good point, Prime. But the difference is that there's a Haaland available. This is, you know, when you were signing Diego Costa, who else was available at the time of Costa's level that was 2 or 3 years younger. In my memory, nobody. Somebody might have a better brain than me. That someone's there. Equally, as Ram just said, legit generational talent available in Haaland. Abs, thank you. One sec. Abs, thank you very much for your call, mate. Really appreciate it, bro. Anita's now with us on the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get Anita on in just a few short moments, but do me a big favor. Smash the like button. Let's get this past 500 likes while we're live on the air, please. Subscribe to the Football Terrace, and let's get Anita on.
All right, can I just say?
Welcome, Neats. How you doing?
I still can't believe you made that. I really cannot believe you made that. I can't even.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. I saw you backstage when Prime's talking about Harry Kane over Haaland. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't get it. Like the person who just called in said, like, we need a goal scorer. We have a lot of creative players. I know Jem's gonna disagree with me here. I know you already. We have enough creative players. I don't understand why you're always, going out like, whoring yourself for Jose Mourinho's players. Come on, mate. We know you were Jose sexual.
Anita, watch yourself. It's not. No, Kane is the bet. Okay. Whatever.
You
It's not about. It's not.
You just got shot that smoke from
Harry Kane, who is being arguably the best player in the world this season, because it's a Mourinho thing. Then whatever.
World.
That's your opinion. I would rather have Harry Kane than Haaland. If we get Haaland, I'm not gonna. If we get Haaland, I'm not going to complain. But I would rather. My opinion, I would rather get Kane because I think it's.
Are you looking at
he would suit us more? And this whole thing, I think the last caller or someone before brought up about like shirt sales and marketability and stuff like that. That is also a thing that I'm worried about, that we're only focusing on Haaland because he's this generational talent, which he's not, rather than actually getting someone like Kane who would actually suit our team.
Are you looking at it from a point of view of playing a front two with Timo Werner being the other striker? Because if it is, I completely get what you mean, because what Werner strived upon was the fact that Yusuf Poulsen was a facilitator for him, and Harry Kane would probably be the best striking partner. But if you're talking about it from a point of view of playing one striker up front, get Haaland, man. Haaland is the guy. If you want one lone striker, want a predator in your team, Haaland is the guy. And Chelsea fans, from what I'm hearing, are wanting a predator. They don't want a facilitator who could do everything. They just want
Finisher.
A pure clinical predator.
So we're acting like Kane is not that also.
Oh, but no,
yeah, but you're acting like.
But again, my thing is
Prime. We're not going back over old ground. No one's saying Kane isn't a good striker. They're talking about the fact that Chelsea have an opportunity to sign a player that's scoring at the same rate as Harry Kane, and he's 20. You're going to get an extra 7 or 8 years use out of this lad, and you can get him cheaper because of his buyout clause next year. So he'll be cheaper. He's more marketable than Harry Kane because. And this is important. Haaland's about to go into the biggest head-to-head, player-to-player challenge since Messi and Ronaldo. Him and Mbappe against one another is going to be epic. And every club wants that as well because it brings in money for you. Neats, I want to go back to the original question with you. Mm-hmm. If Roman and Chelsea decided, look, we'll offer Werner as a make weight to get the deal to happen, would you endorse that move?
Not really. I was open to the Pulisic move, like the Pulisic one. Fair, cool. Let's get him. I'm back to.
You're in that agenda. Oh my days!
Guys, it's not an agenda. Look, people in the comments already said watch and say Pulisic. Listen, it's not an agenda. It's just facts. Like he's injury prone. He's an injury prone player. He has a lot of talent. Maybe he needs to go back to Dortmund where they can treat him better. I don't know. But for me, getting rid of Werner will kind of be a bummer because I don't know. I think Werner, he offers a lot more than just trying to be that main goal scorer, you know, like he's proven to not be the main goal scorer at Chelsea this season, and that's okay. You know, he's proven that he can play more of an impactful role as a team player anyway, which is good. I value that in a player like him, even if that means that we'll have to rotate him sometimes, even on the bench, sometimes get him playing with Haaland. And if the Haaland partnership doesn't work, then we can look into, okay, maybe we need to load off Werner and get someone who can actually play with Haaland, and maybe as a 2 up front, or maybe even just someone that can play off him on the left wing or on the right wing, you know? Like, I wouldn't get rid of Werner just yet when there's other people in the team that we can potentially let go of.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. But I think it would be a silly move to let Werner go just down. Same as letting Kai Havertz go. They're too talented. And I think that a full preseason, you know, once I actually get to experience a bit of life as well in the UK, maybe settle into the country a little bit more. I know some people have done well this year. You look at Fofana, you know, taken to the Premier League like a duck to water, but that isn't for everybody. So it's going to be important. I want to speak Arsenal. Igal was here as well. I don't know where he's gone. There's a lot of talk that they're going to really struggle to keep Odegaard, who's been a bit of a revelation since he joined. I think a lot of us half bantered signing when it first happened, because a lot of people look at it like he didn't cut the mustard at Real Madrid. Why would they let someone go? I wanted to ask some of your opinions on this. Do you think if he continues to play at the level he is now towards the end of the season, do you think Arsenal have any chance of re-signing him on a permanent deal, or will Real Madrid just say, nah, he's ours, we're having him back?
No, they won't. I remember I said this. When they... Oh, Ramzaki, you can go.
No, go on, Prime. I
remember I said this when they signed him. If Odegaard is his talent, right? Because when they signed him, I assumed it was on this 18-month loan deal. I said it's stupid to sign a guy of this immense talent and build your team around him, and you're not going to be able to secure him on a permanent basis. Because if he's really this good, he's going back to Real Madrid. The only reason why he hasn't been playing at Real is because Zidane, for some reason, just doesn't like him. Because Zidane could possibly get sacked this season or even next. Once Zidane is gone, Odegaard will be in that team. And what will Arsenal have then? Because if you're not in Champions League or even Europa League football,
I tell you,
who's coming to your club?
I tell you, the reason why he didn't get a lot of game time in Real Madrid is apparently he doesn't fit Zidane's system. He plays a midfield two of Kroos and Modric, and Odegaard doesn't fit that kind of mustard. But we all know how talented Martin Odegaard is, and what Florentino Perez is starting to do is starting to bring in a lot of young players, like you see it with Federico Valverde, Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr. He's starting to go into that kind of mold for Real Madrid. And if Odegaard is performing at the level that is expected of him, and with the talent that he has, he's going straight back to Real Madrid, because after all, Real Madrid is his dream club. You need to remember, Odegaard had the chance to go to Bayern Munich, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal when he was younger, and he chose Real Madrid because it's his dream club. If he performs, he's going straight back to Real Madrid. It's as simple as that.
Go on.
Yeah, 100%. It's basically what the Rams just touched on. Odegaard has wanted to stay at Real Madrid for how long now? Like, Real Madrid, if that is your dream club to stay at, and look at Eden Hazard, he always knew that he wanted to go Real Madrid. At the end of the day, Arsenal, I don't want to say they're not a big enough club to keep someone like Odegaard, because Odegaard, he's not really anybody as of yet. He's just a great talent, and we can see a future with him. But at the same time, it's he's not like a Ceballos, or what? How do you even say that guy's name?
Ceballos.
Ceballos. He's not Ceballos. You know, you can see he has more talent than Ceballos. And if Real Madrid want him back, he's going back, and it's just as simple as that. There's no maths to it at all. If they want him back, he goes back. But if they don't want him back, then what now? He's going to stay at Arsenal, innit? What now? He becomes a meaty player.
You know what? You say that, right? I'm going to flip it a little bit, because with Real Madrid, they haven't done the best of summer like in terms of transfers, even their low needs, the people that they've had out, they haven't really done very well. If you look at what they've currently got in Hakimi, they sold Hakimi on when they should have just kept him on. Who plays right back for them at the moment?
Jem, can I go quickly? I'm having technical difficulties right now.
Go on.
What I think about this whole situation is he's come into the team and he's made a big impact, and Arteta is pleased with him. And it's more the question: is the board going to back Arteta and get him this signing? Because this is a cheaper signing than getting the luxury signing that we want in Jack Grealish. If it means Odegaard's going to stay and we're going to subsequently get another player, a different profile player, because the dream of Jack Grealish is not going to happen if we get Odegaard. And when you guys say, can we get him? The question is, you guys didn't think we were going to get Pepe. You guys didn't think we were going to get Aubameyang. You guys didn't think we were going to get Pate. So at the end of the day, if you guys don't think we're going to get Odegaard, you're silly, because those players were much bigger names, much more in price. And Odegaard is going to cost you probably around 40 to maybe more, a little bit more if he plays well. But you know what? We did this to ourselves. We knew what risk we were taking, and you know what? It was a risk worth it. If at the end of the day, he's helped us already in the North London derby and in the game against Benfica and Olympiacos. So you know what? So far, it's been great. The question is, will the board back him? And in my opinion, if Arteta is asking for them to buy this player for 40 million, it's worth it in my opinion. And you know what? That just means Jack Grealish is not going to happen.
So there's things on that. I don't think Jack Grealish is happening anyway. What I would say to you, Agal, is this: it's not about whether Arsenal are willing to buy him, because they will be willing to pay the money for him. The question more are Real Madrid willing to let him go. And I remember having the same conversation about Ceballos. If Ceballos came to Arsenal and was killing it, they'd keep him. I know people throw the Hakimi situation in there. Again, I thought
he fit the system though.
That's not true though.
We say that.
Real Madrid need to raise funds. Real Madrid need to raise funds.
Maybe. Yeah, but if they need a creative attacker and they've already got one on their books and they need to raise funds, if they sell him, they're gonna have to spend money to bring in somebody to be creative. If they've got someone who
he's been there for 7 years, Terry. They don't care. They don't. He's been there for 7 years. They haven't shown him the level of money that they invested in him and the amount of time that they've shown him. They have not shown him what he needs as a player. He's a player who's currently the captain of his international country. He's also a player who needs more game time. He's been there for 7 years. At this point, he wanted to go to Real Sociedad. He was desperate to leave. And as long as Zidane is there, he's coming to Arsenal next year. I guarantee you that.
Like Zidane is not going to be there next season. Apparently,
what do you mean? I just heard the different report just 2 weeks ago saying he's going to stay for next year.
Apparently, Real Madrid are looking to get a new manager. I don't know. I don't know.
It changes every week.
I don't think Real Madrid have made the best of decisions, really, have they? Let's be serious. I don't think Real Madrid have made the best decisions as a board, as a club recently, and it's very clear. I know Terry said don't bring up the Hakimi thing, but the Hakimi thing is irrelevant to me, to this situation, because since then they haven't really had a great who plays there, Carvajal still. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, he's a complete different type of player. For me, Hakimi's 10 times better than him. Reguilon's out on loan. Are they going to bring him back? Can you trust Real Madrid to actually bring? This is what I'm saying. But they've got better players out there that they don't actually bring back into their club. So for me, I think Arsenal have got every chance of signing Odegaard this summer, 100%.
Do Arsenal have a chance of signing Odegaard because no one else is going to sign him?
No, because he's on loan.
He's on loan to them, isn't it?
No.
He's in-house.
Okay. I know. Again, do Arsenal have a chance of signing him because no other club wants to or actually needs to sign him?
No, I personally think Arsenal, it's just as simple as this. Arsenal have the advantage of signing him because he is already there. He is already on loan there. There's not much more to it. It doesn't have
to stay there.
Someone else wants him and stuff like that.
So,
it's even about wanting to stay there, but you've got to think about it this way. How many moves have you seen where someone has come straight back from loan and been completely sold to a completely different team? Like, it's not usual for that to happen. So he's already at Arsenal. Yep. It's not maths, you know. It's just he's already there. He's already put his foot in there. He's set in stone in there. Why would they want to send him with Arsenal anyway?
So if Pep wanted him, he wouldn't go to Man City.
But Pep's not going to want him, though, is he?
That's my point.
I get that. Listen, but like I always say, like, if Michelle Keegan knocked on my front door, would I say yes? Probably, but he ain't. So it's elementary, really. Do you think he's good enough, Igal? And this is a question. This isn't loaded. I know rival fans can often be very weak underbellies when you ask me these questions. Do you think Odegaard is good enough to make a continual and consistent long-term impact to improve Arsenal in the Premier League? You're on mute, bro. Or I can't hear you. No. Okay, try come back in. No worries. What do you think, Nietzsche? What you've seen of him so far? Do you think, because there's always been question marks because he hasn't made it at Real Madrid for whatever reason. He was a wonder kid at 15. From what you've seen of Odegaard, does he look like he's cut out for the Prem?
I don't know. I personally don't like to speak on players that I haven't, watched enough of. From a couple of games that I've seen him playing, I believe there's a talent there, 100%. But can I say he's cut out for the league yet? I don't know. I need a larger sample size. So maybe come back to me at the end of the season on that, and then we can talk about it. But for now, he looks like he could be. But again, yeah. I don't know.
No, I hear you. Yeah. How about yourself, Gal? Is the sound working now? You're on mute.
Yeah, it's working now, right?
Yes, got you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I don't have headphones in anymore. What do you call it? So I think he's good. I think he's good enough. The question is, will he continue to keep his form throughout the remainder of the season? I don't think he will keep this level of form. Over the past 2 games, he's been outstanding. He's been the linchpin to our great performance against Tottenham and the first leg against Olympiacos. Now, if Arteta does make him an integral part of his team, he'll only be doing that with the plans to purchase him in the summer. Now, we've already spoken to Real Madrid before. We said we're going to discuss this in the summer, saving everything for the negotiations in the future. I know it's in Real Madrid's hands right now, and the question shouldn't be, is he good enough? We already know he's good enough. The question is, we need bodies. If we're gonna buy a Real Madrid player, I don't want to buy Ceballos. The one I would buy is the one that's performing well, and that's Odegaard.
For now.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Speaking of buying bodies, big report today that Liverpool are going to try and sign DYBALA in the summer. Obviously, want to go to Ram first on this one as a Liverpool fan. Is that a move you endorse? You're on mute.
It's probably better.
I heard that. Louder. Would I endorse it? Absolutely. Right. We all know how good Paulo Dybala is, what he did for Juventus, especially in that campaign to the final of the Champions League. Will it happen? I personally don't think so. I honestly don't think that it will happen. Like £60 million looks like a lot of money for FSG to spend this summer. So I don't think it will happen. But will I endorse it? Absolutely.
He's valued at 60 million, but he has 1 year left on his contract. So you're not going to have to pay 60 million. You'll get him at a cut price of that if he goes anywhere, because Juve are not playing him. He's not playing for Juve. So
from he's injured, though, no?
Yeah, but he's not playing. So it's not like he's been an integral part of their team. He's got a year left on his contract. It's highly unlikely he's going to re-sign. If they just let him stay for a year, they're going to spend salary on a player that even if they get a new manager this year, which could happen, right? Because they're not going to win anything. Is a new manager going to build a system around a player who's only going to be here for 1 year? My argument would be no.
Just to add on that, to our benefit is the emergence of Federico Chiesa for Juventus this season, because he basically plays the same position as Dybala, plays as like a auxiliary winger / centre forward for Juventus.
And he looked good the other day. He looked good the other day. Yeah, you know what I mean? Do you know what's funny after that game as well, actually? You had both Messi and Ronaldo last week. Everyone sort of wrote the obituaries to say, like, it's great that you're both the number one, number two. And then Ronaldo scores a first half hat trick, and then Messi scored another goal yesterday. I don't know if you see Messi's goal yesterday.
Yeah.
It's almost like we ain't done yet. Do you know what I mean? There's some life in the old dog, as it were. We're going to go to some more of your calls. We have shared the link on the Discord server if you want to phone in and ask any questions of the panelists. Speak about Haaland to Chelsea, Odegaard to Arsenal, or Dybala to Liverpool Football Club. We want to hear from you right now. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. It's really important to the Football Terrace that you get that done. First caller or next caller we're going to go to is going to be TJ. TJ, welcome to the Terrace. What do you want to say?
I'm not bad. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. What are you here to speak to us about?
I'll just come on to address Prime's point that he's completely wrong. We have every chance of getting Odegaard, a bigger chance than he thinks, because, like it's already been said, he's on loan here, so he's getting used to the team. He knows the manager, he knows the players, he knows the area. Also, I just wanted to ask, when are Havertz and Werner going to be talked about as flops? Well, they already are, but when will we consider them as flops?
Why would they be flops?
I'll go. Havertz and Werner have already been considered as flops like 3-4 months ago. Also, I didn't say you don't have a chance. I said if the big clubs like, do they actually want or need Odegaard? Like, if Pep wanted him and Man City wanted to buy him, would he still sign for Arsenal? That was my question. If you can honestly
Probably,
tell me
because we
that
can
would
guarantee
happen,
the game
if
time.
you can,
We can guarantee the game time over Man City.
If he's really that talented and he's really that amazing, he'd get game time at City. And he's also playing in the Champions League. And he's also competing for league titles. And he's also competing for the Champions League. But if you're telling me that he would sign for Arsenal instead of City, then amazing, fine. I can't argue against that, can I?
And
in terms of the Werner and Havertz thing being flops, what are you saying, Jem?
I need to ask him a question, actually. So, why is Havertz and Werner a flop to you? Can you answer that question for me, please?
I just think for the price tags, what have they've not really shown enough for the price tags.
Okay.
Especially when Pepe was regarded as a flop after 4 games last season.
Okay. So Kai Havertz, as you know, has had COVID. He's been injured. He's only recently started getting a recent run of form. In that, if you're saying that Kai Havertz is a flop, then surely Thomas Partey is a flop as well, then, because he hasn't been playing. Surely
Partey's had a bigger impact on Arsenal than Havertz has had on Chelsea.
No, he has not.
Yeah,
no, he has not. So if you're going to play it on that, then you've got to throw Thomas Partey in that bracket as well.
Wait. Did you say
Partey's not a
Partey's had a
flop.
bigger
I'm not
impact
hearing
at
this.
Get him, Jem. Get him, Jem. Get him.
Yeah, Partey's had a bigger impact at Arsenal than
No, he
Havertz
hasn't.
at Chelsea.
He hasn't. He's been injured
Yes, he
most of
has.
the season, and when he's came in, he's had one good
ask him
game, and that was
how.
against Man United. That's all I remember.
Ask him how.
He's had more than one good game.
How? How many games has he had that's a good game? Tell me.
I would say 3.
3.
How many good games has Havertz had?
3.
How many good games has Havertz had?
That's it.
I
Right,
am
that is
so
a proper
sorry.
Arsenal
I'm so
comment.
sorry.
You know that. I'm
Havertz
sorry.
has had 3 in the last week, babe. In the
Yeah,
last
exactly.
week, he's had 3 good games. Come on, man.
Okay, and how
Let's
many
put
goals?
the bias aside. Come on. The only
How many
person that we
goals?
can really say is probably
How many goals?
Pardon?
How many goals though?
He's not
Don't be silly,
consistently
pal.
played though,
Don't
has
be
he?
silly. Come
Where's
Come,
what's
come,
he talking
come.
about?
Man, please, just come on. You just watch the game and you can see his impact. We're all football fans. When we watch football, we know how much of an impact a footballer has without scoring goals. Like, come on. But I would agree with you with the Werner thing, because if I'm being very unbiased and if I'm looking at it objectively, and Werner, he started the majority of games. You know, he's
got more of a reason.
Substitution. Whatever, and he had 34 goals last season, and the expectation was for him to get, at least over 20 goals this season. He hasn't got that, and we can start calling him a flop. And that one I'll take that one on the chin. That's whatever. But Havertz
is a no for me.
Come on, it's just a no from me.
Yeah, TJ, listen, great call, mate. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. Really.
Yeah, no bother. Thanks a lot.
Not a problem at all, mate.
Thank you.
You know what? I didn't agree with his point about the Havertz thing being a flop, but he articulated it. So I love it when I get a caller that can speak.
Yeah, of course. I like that.
It's so much easier than. Do you know what I mean? Next on the show, no pressure now. After I said that, we're gonna have Matthew. Matthew's with us.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I think Chelsea, the only chance they're getting Haaland is this summer. They won't get him next summer. They have to go all out for him this summer if they're going to get him, which I'm very, very jealous of. We need them at United, but we've got enough problems as it is.
What's your thoughts on what Prime said, that Harry Kane would be a better option right now for Chelsea than Haaland?
I disagree with it. Haaland's got agent inside. He's scoring 30 goals a season. Come on, let's be honest. And plus, you've got Werner, you've got Havertz, you've got Mount. The young team. Chelsea could dominate for the next 5 years if they get the players like Haaland.
Yeah, that's the fear as well. I hear that. Listen, Matt, great call. Thank you very much for coming on, having your say, mate. Next up, the Arsenal Realist is here. Arsenal Realist is with us. What you saying?
Yeah, Terry, me just on the Odegaard situation, I don't think we're going to get him. But as long as Zidane's there, no, I don't think we'll get him on a permanent. But as a loan for next year, like we did with Ceballos this year, I think we can get him on a loan for next year. But I don't think we're going to get him permanently. I don't think there's a chance. He's young.
Oh, mate, really
I
bad,
don't know game.
really bad connection, mate. Try calling back. We really couldn't hear what you were saying, but you didn't think you have a chance of getting him. Next up on the show, Mustafa is with us. Mustafa, welcome to the terrace. What are you saying?
Hey Terry, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, mate. What are you here to speak about?
I'm here to say that I would swap Werner for Haaland in a heartbeat. I love Werner, but I think Haaland is a different breed. That's how I see it. I think it's a big decision to let go of Werner. I think he will still do well at Chelsea in the next coming years. But I think if you told me Werner for Haaland, I would easily swap it. I think he's just a generational talent. I think he brings more. I think he's a more powerful player. I think he can do more than Werner in terms of scoring different type of goals. That's my opinion on it.
I agree.
Yeah. Do you know what? If you could not swap him, and you can bring, if you could not swap him, and you could Cage, just stop. If you could not swap him, and keep both, you would do that.
Oh yeah.
If it was the only choice and the only way Dortmund would do the deal with you, or it was the only way you could make Dortmund stop talking to other people, you're still improving. And do you know what I mean? He's such a good player, Haaland. He's one of those individuals where you'd almost get rid of anybody for him, but it's about the cohesion, I suppose. But thanks for being honest with us, Mustafa. Thank you very much indeed, bro. I appreciate your comment. KJ, how you doing, mate?
Hey,
I'm all right. I'm hearing news about Haaland, the Chelsea, not your Indiana, my brother. It is what it is, isn't it? Like, it's okay, my friend. It's okay.
I told y'all.
Let it go. Let it go.
I
Just
told you
to break my dreams and buy Sancho as well, and then it'd be peak for everyone, isn't it? Like, it is what it is.
It's okay, KJ. You have a director now. You're back.
Prime, 1 second, Prime. What do you make of the story that Chelsea are willing to swap Timo Werner? Do you think that's paper talk? Do you think there's some truth in it? And would you do it? Is the question.
All right, listen. Sugar Daddy Roman don't care about your feelings, fam. He will trade you in a heartbeat, fam. You know what I'm saying? That's all he is. So I think it's true. There's part of it because it makes sense. If you buy Haaland, they're gonna need to replace him with a striker. Timo Werner is a striker proven in the Bundesliga, and in that system in Dortmund, he will bag goals. He'll be more comfortable. He'll be playing in a league that he knows better, and I'm pretty sure he'll have more friends over there as well. In it, he's come over to this new country during lockdown, can't really get out and experience the London life. So there's nothing really to be attached to. Like, there's nothing really to be like, oh yeah, but this is a new place and I love the town. Nah, bro. You go to training, you go home. Like, that's it. So if Werner for Haaland makes sense, and if they do it, all right, listen, I rate them in it. Like it make you can never respect them for it.
Do you know what? I said it a few weeks ago, and I say it again. Whoever signs, if Chelsea sign Haaland or City sign Haaland, for me, they're the champions that year. And I get a lot of people say, well, City don't rely on one individual to score their goals. No, they don't. And they still won't have to rely on one individual scoring all their goals if Haaland joins, because he can play football as well. But he'll elevate their goal scoring levels by he'll score an extra 30 goals. They'll score an extra 30, 40 goals as a team in a season, no doubt. If he goes to Chelsea, the way you play football now with Tuchel, he's bagging 30 plus league goals. In fact, I've said this before and I'll say it again. He'll definitely do this at City and he might do this at Chelsea. Haaland, if he joins a Premier League season and is fit for the entire campaign, once he hits 30 games, he'll break the individual goal scoring record in Premier League goals for a season. He is that good. And in Tuchel and Pep's systems, which work the ball into the box so brilliantly, this guy will bag every single golden chance, every single sitter, every single big opportunity. I'd say 95% of them he finishes. And then it's those half chances. It's when the ball just trickles to him quickly and bang, he just buries it because he can blast it and place it at the same time. I'm not going to get overly technical. That might have a technical term in football, but he basically smashes it with placement. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Annoying. Well, I say it's annoying. It's annoying because he ain't coming to Manchester United.
And you know what? Yeah, Haaland's a better option than Kane, because once Kane gets injured, you man are going to be crying. Oh, we don't have a backup striker. So what's the point of buying the brother? Haaland guaranteed fitness, bro. He's only injured for like 2 weeks max, and then he's back again. He's built like a freaking wall, fam.
He's a machine. He's a machine. Terminator, bro.
Are you guaranteeing he'll break the goal scoring record next season if he signs for Chelsea?
Mate, hang on. I can't guarantee it. I'm what am I, Mr. Warranty here? Listen,
No,
it's my
I was gonna do a fourth.
If I give an opinion, prime. If I give an opinion, that's just my opinion. I think if he comes into a Chelsea or a Pep system where the ball is worked into that box magnificently well, there's no doubt about it. Or a team that they're two of the highest teams in terms of chances created and shots on goals in the Tuchel era, and of course under Pep. If you do that with Haaland in the box, he is he's a predator. If I leave my chickens or rabbits out at night, foxes are going to eat them. Facts. You leave a ball in the box anywhere near Haaland, he's putting it into the back of the net. And both City and Chelsea create those chances. So I can't guarantee it, but I fervently believe with my whole heart, Haaland next season, if he joins the Premier League, will break the single season goal scoring record in the Premier League. He'll get more goals than Ronaldo, Henry, Aguero, and Harry Kane have ever managed, and Salah have ever managed in a singular season. He will also have an opportunity joining at 20 to break the all-time goal scoring record. In fact, Haaland is so good. He's already set the foundation to go on to be the greatest ever striker in football history. Doesn't mean he'll do it. He has to keep scoring at a colossal rate to catch the Jimmy Greaveses of this world, the Ronaldos, the Messis. But what he's done at 20, fastest player to reach 100 career goals at the elite level of the game.
Yeah.
The speed of which he scored, 21 Champions League goals in 14 games. It's beyond a joke, and he has the ability now. And the one thing I'd say with if I'm a record holder up there and I'm considered one of the best, why Haaland would scare me is he's hungry. You can tell this guy will stay behind and do extra training. He'll eat like a monk. He's idols Cristiano Ronaldo, and he models his life on him. He's got the arrogance as well. What he did the other day when he scored that goal against Benfica, and I knew when Thierry Henry last night was talking about, I knew Thierry Henry was going to praise it because Henry had that arrogance about him when he I remember he did that thing once when he scored a goal against Spurs. He got right in someone's face. I love that. I want Haaland scoring a goal against Man City, wearing up Pep's face, bruv.
He picked up his captain like he was water. Like, you just lifted him up, and it was like, bruv, like that's your club captain, and you're making him look like a ragdoll. He's a beast. He's actually a beast.
Look how
the only reason why I mentioned it is because don't big screen me. It's because I said that I was going to call you your bluff, I guess, and forfeit. But yeah, it's fine.
Okay, let's have a bet then. So I'm not saying if he doesn't break it, I'm not going to forfeit. So if he breaks it, Prime, what are you going to do? If he breaks it, what are you going to do?
Give you some blue pills.
See? I don't need them, bro.
If he does it, he'll buy that jersey though, like he promised people to buy in it.
On a separate note, changing the subject slightly. I got a question for Anita here. And I'm glad that Kesh is joining for this as well. It's been trending a bit the last few days. I need to ask you this question. I'm hearing a lot of stuff go around social saying London is red, London is red, London is red. Is London red or is it blue? We know it ain't white. London is definitely not white. There's no doubt about it. Spurs haven't got a claim on it. Is London blue or is London red?
I don't know. Let's see. One has a Champions League, the other side doesn't. I don't know. I think I'd go with the color that has the Champions League, the only trophy that everyone else doesn't have. I don't know. For me, I'd go with that one in it. They're the real winners, but some people will say London is red because of their multiple community shields that they count as trophies. But I would be so shameless to say that. London is blue, has been blue for the last 14 years, and that's just that.
Kesh, obviously you joined us as a gooner. Would you say with the success that Chelsea have had in the last 20 years, London is certainly blue now, isn't it?
It's red. So all Chelsea's doing is they're painting the picture. They haven't finished it yet. So until they catch us, it can't be red. It can't be blue. Sorry. They're
can't be red, exactly.
You're painting the picture. Listen, you talk about Champions League, but let's Nottingham Forest has got Champions League. Like, what does that even mean to you?
Kesh, don't embarrass yourself.
What does that mean?
You know what? Yeah, You know what? Cash is right. Nottingham Forest have a Champions League, and they're a big club as well. We're both bigger than Arsenal. I agree.
Yes,
Nonsense.
right.
That's your point.
Thank
That's
you.
My view is this: London's like if it's not blue and all blue, right now it's claret and blue. Like it's blue.
Yeah.
It's blue. Like there's always blue involved. I just feel like I get that Arsenal have more league titles. I do understand that, but in the modern day game, over the last 20 years, Chelsea have completely and utterly eclipsed Arsenal.
So for the last 7 years, Man City is eclipsed Man United. So does that mean that Man City is now a bigger club than Man United? No.
No, no one's saying that. No one's saying it's again. I think maybe the semantics is being debated here. For Man City to be bigger than Manchester United, it's going to take decades more fan growth, etc. But in the last 10 years, City have most certainly been more successful, and everyone said the power has shifted, and everybody agrees with that. Right now, the most dangerous team in London is Chelsea. In the last 15, 20 years, the most dangerous team in London has been Chelsea. So London's blue. Like at the end of the day, like it's not about what you've done in your history. It's about what you've done in recent history and what you're doing now. And Chelsea are the baddest, most dangerous team in London. There's no doubt.
Also, you can't compare. You can't say the gap between United and City is equal to the gap between Chelsea and Arsenal. If you're saying Arsenal's ahead of Chelsea, you can't say that. You can't say that gap is as equal. No way, because Arsenal are not on the same level as a club as Man United.
And the thing is, when you take
no one said that, but neither is Chelsea on the same level as
Arsenal. When we take away your community shield, when we take away your community shield, you are only ahead of us by like 3 or 4 trophies. Like
no, more than that.
Okay, what, 5 or 6? Okay,
more than that. It's more than that.
It's not more than that. It's not more than that. It's not more than that. When you take away your 15 community shields that you guys count as major trophies,
yeah, that's true.
Like, come on,
and take away your community shields.
Yeah, it ain't many that many.
You can if you want to.
We haven't got that.
We can if you want to.
Guys, I want to go to KJ. What's your thoughts on this, KJ? Right now in London, is it blue or red?
It's claret and blue, fam. It's claret and blue. West Ham, fam. Both their teams suck.
By the way, people that said I was chatting shit is 6 trophies. We caught up to you. 6 trophies in 15 years for your whole history. That's nuts.
Unreal, though.
Merseyside's definitely blue, though. I'd say that now. That's a completely shift change.
Behave.
Better setup, better base, better bold, better everything, mate. Better manager.
All right.
There you go, mate. What can you say?
I mean,
what were you going to say? What were you going to say, KJ?
No, unreal though. Like going forward, it will be Chelsea. Like it will be.
Yeah, no one's denying that. No one's denying that.
They have the better. They have the better plan, the better board, the better players. They will be better than like Arsenal. They already are better.
We already are, KJ.
History and trophies. They will be better. It's one of those
no one's denying that though.
It may be red now because the trophies are here and history and that. But listen, the history is getting erased real quickly, my brother.
I only feel like history is relevant if you're still competing, and that's why with Man United, in the last decade, we've still won Premier League titles. In another 4 or 5 years, if we ain't back to that, I believe Man United fans should stop talking about what we did in the past because it's almost not relevant anymore, if that makes sense. Like there's a point where
we suffered from that.
You've got your history and you celebrate it, but it's almost I'm putting that to the back burner. Now, when I look at you don't hear Nottingham Forest fans or Ipswich fans or Villa fans phoning up shows talking about how they're some of the biggest teams in England because of the European success they had back in the day, because they know they've fallen so far away from that. And Arsenal have fallen that far away from those big conversations. And Man United are almost out of that conversation now as well. And I'm a red saying that because you need to be involved in it to keep talking about it. Otherwise, I think it's a bit. There's a comment here, though, that says London is definitely red. Bayern Munich 5-1 and Bayern Munich 7-1.
Yeah.
All right, Cash. All right, Cash, question, because this is something I ask all Arsenal. This is something I ask Arsenal fans. Mm-hmm. If Arsenal are still bigger than Chelsea, then it's fine. How long until Chelsea overtake Arsenal? Because you guys keep dropping while we
that all depends on you lot.
No. It depends on you, because if Arsenal is still bigger than Chelsea, in your opinion, what will it take for you then to realize that Chelsea is bigger than Arsenal? Is it trophies? Is it fans?
Once you go past off, then that's it.
I don't know. I think there's an element of total trophies and current relevance, because my view is this. if I said to you who's been the best country in the world to produce the best heavyweight boxers, most people say America, right? Because in history it has. But right now, America ain't running. The heavyweight division's British, bruv. It's the best heavyweight boxers are all British. So we're ruling it right now. We may not have had as many champions historically as the United States of America, but right now, heavyweight boxing is British in terms of we're dominating with of course, AJ, Tyson Fury. Can't wait for those fights to happen. Do you know I'm so proud about that sporting event. You're talking about two Brits that are going to break box office records for box. It's just amazing that it's two Brits that are doing that. And that's my point. Right now, in relevancy, it's like heavyweight boxing, as an example, is British. Same as in football in London right now, is blue because Chelsea is the most dominant force. Historically, yeah, you can say that it's Arsenal, but Arsenal haven't been relevant in terms of title contending conversations for over 10 years now. And like I've said, Man United are on that case. We're still big six clubs because they've got mass fan bases. But yeah, London for me is most certainly blue.
Terry, also is Champions League does talk. Like Chelsea have won the European Cup. Arsenal haven't won it. And it's like,
bro, this
nonsense. Wait, this nonsense
that Arsenal never won a European Cup. What was the UEFA Cup before?
No, the UEFA Cash. The UEFA Conference was the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup. That's what you want.
Stop talking nonsense, man.
I hear that. You Arsenal fans. Neat making me laugh. Says Terry can't wait for the British clash in Saudi Arabia. Listen, I get that. Listen, these boxers have got to make their peas. I'm very, very happy for my guy AJ, and it's a horrible fight for me though because on boxing level, I really like both of those guys. Go on, KJ. What?
But I say, when does league position start to come into this whole debate? Because you're screaming with the biggest and the best team in London in 10th or 8th or wherever you are.
10th.
When's the last time you got Champions League position?
So how many? So how can you be saying that right now when you're clearly not?
You're muted.
When Liverpool was finishing 7th and all that, why was the same thing being applied there?
Because Everton haven't won a trophy since 1995.
You
can't at a time.
You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose. It's either going to be consistent with it.
So just on what Ram said, if it is Merseyside red or blue, you would go with Liverpool because both were out of the race. If Everton went on like a 10, 15-year winning streak of winning 5, 6, 7 league titles, FA Cup, Champions League, and Liverpool winning like nothing, a couple of FA Cups, you could say Merseyside's side has turned blue, but that didn't happen. It's like right now, a lot of people say Manchester's blue because Manchester City are dominating the city, but it's going to take them even at the current rate they're going at, it's still going to take them another 20 years to catch us. But if we're not relevant for 28 years, we can't say Manchester's red. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be relevant in that conversation, I think. Score predictions for tonight, people. Big game for Chelsea and Atletico. Before we do that, we want your live comments on who you think is going to qualify tonight and the final score. Also, smash that like button for us right about now, people. Hit that like button. I'm going to go to Ram first. Score prediction and who's going through.
Do you want both City and Chelsea, or is it
no? Just Chelsea are playing tonight.
Okay, City playing tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Sorry. Yeah, do Chelsea's for us. Sorry.
Chelsea, I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. I think Chelsea will go through.
Cheers for that. Neats.
I agree. I think a 1-1 or a 0-0. It might not be as exciting. I think Atletico probably will start pumping us, and Chelsea won't play exciting football. But I think Chelsea goes through at the end of the day.
Prime.
1-1 draw. We go through 2-1 on the night or on aggregate. It's going to be a beautiful game of ball to watch. Bring on Atletico Madrid.
Jem, you confident?
Yeah, I'm going for a 1-0 Chelsea. I don't think Atletico are going to score tomorrow. I think they're going to do exactly what they did last time, which is just pin themselves back. So I'm going to go for 1-0.
How about yourself, Kesh? You think Chelsea have got enough to do it?
I think they've got enough to do it, but personally, I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
Interesting. And finally, KJ, what are you saying?
Chelsea are back in it. So 4-0 Chelsea. Absolute drumming. I'm joking. I'm serious though. I reckon Atletico might bring it, you know. Just for the Chelsea tears, 2-0. 2-0 Atletico.
Interesting.
Yes.
There we go. I was actually gonna say 1-0 to Chelsea. I think you're gonna win both legs. It's gonna send another big message across Europe as well. That I'm not even trying to throw judge it your way, but I do think Chelsea are back, and you're gonna be feeling it next year when Haaland comes. It's gonna be
Can I
mad.
just say something quickly?
Yeah, go on.
Because I hear a lot of people talk about they dominating the league and things like that. Listen, for as long as Pep is at Man City, no single team will dominate this league. If Man City goes a season without winning it, they'll win it the following season. They're not going to dominate. No one's going to do that.
Listen,
when Chelsea were doing that, when Chelsea did that, 2014-15, then won it again 2016-17, were you using that same logic? I'm very confused.
Yeah. I wasn't using the same logic.
Right. And London is still red. Right.
Listen, you can't. That's not dominating.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. I think it'll. I honestly think if Tuchel stays and they bring in Haaland, Chelsea will. It'll be like they'll co-occupy that top spot. It will be both of them going toe to toe with one another. You've already seen. Look at Chelsea's record since Tuchel came in, and that's without any of his own players or signings. It's not too far behind what City. There's been a couple of draws, and the rest have been wins. They're barely conceding goals, and they haven't even got right now. And because they haven't got a world-class centre back like City have got. They haven't got a world-class goalie like City have got. They haven't even got a single player in their team that Tuchel bought yet. You had a Haaland into that, and maybe another top-class midfielder and a world-class centre-back or something. They are going to be able to compete with City, in my opinion, no doubts. But listen, that's the end of today's show. Make sure you're hitting the like and the share button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Thank you. Goodbye. God bless. And